moving along. I've got the grills to work on next. These real flimsy inserts. I'm sure people have seen these before. After the foam rotted off, I don't know who put these frames in, which is regular cloth. Good thing I have the logos still are attached, but they glued them in pretty good. Ripped a lot of material just trying to get these out of there. But I guess somebody must have dropped one of these pretty bad, because the frame where the particle board is broken in two places, and they had a really good fix for this. They just had duct tape on here, both places, so that didn't work so well. And he dropped it pretty bad because that whole walnut section is missing on there, and there's another chunk of walnut taken off the top piece. So I'm gonna have to make new pieces for that, and overall it's in pretty bad condition, but I think I'll be able to fix all that. This one's not too bad. It's got the walnut still intact all the way around, so I'll have to do some sanding on that to get that straight. Now also, this person loved this foam tape. This was all over it. You put it on the back here and basically stuck the grills onto the speakers. So I've pulled that off in a lot of different places. See, here's one big piece that still needs to come off. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and start working on, let me see here, this whole frame has got to be put back together, and that's possible. Over here is where it broke. Over here, it's still, somehow it's holding, the walnut's still holding the particle board together. I don't know how, but. And then I have to get some new pegs for the cabinet to hold these things on. But I've got new foam for these, new orange foam, and the next thing will be restoring these grills and getting that foam attached. So anyway, I'm gonna start working on this. We'll see what I can do to put Humpty Dumpty back together here. But and then cutting out these walnut pieces for here, for the edges. So work on that. So I've gotten into the broken grill here. I just went ahead and pulled off some of the cheesecloth that goes on behind the scenes, and you see this is a pretty bad break, and this walnut edge is broken here too, and this edge is broken. So these pieces are going to have to be replaced. Might be able to use this for this new piece here, but I'm going to go ahead and pull all this off and see if this is even in any ways can be salvaged. Otherwise, I'll just have to make a new piece, a new particle board piece for this the grill frame. So I got them kind of cleaned up. I got all the staples out of there. I still have some more cleanup work to do for some of the edges. All this, it looks like they use, like, I don't think they had it back then, but it looks like almost a Gorilla Glue, because it's very porous, almost like hard foam in there. But anyway, so the staples are out. There's a couple more spots where the glue was holding on the cheesecloth that needs to be taken off. I'm gonna go ahead and take this glue around these edges as good as I can, try to get that off of there. Now, I've been debating whether to try to salvage a particle board or not. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna glue it together just for the heck of it, because I restore everything. It's broken over here. I'm gonna glue that first, and then glue this big section. Somehow this held on because of the walnut edge, keeping that together. But it's cracked all the way through. You can see it from the other side. But anyway, so and then I went ahead and I took off the one side of walnut, because I am gonna salvage this for the top. So I'll take the whole top off and use this piece, and then all I'll have to do is one piece of walnut here on this edge. And to get that off, I just took a chisel and put it at a 45-degree angle and my hammer, and I just gave it a couple of good shots, and it came right off. I did break a little piece at the beginning, but this piece, salvage piece along the side, is big enough to do the top, so that's not a problem there. Anyway, so I'm going to continue to keep cleaning this up and glue this first, get that done, and then come around to this big section here and glue that up and see where we're at. Still don't know if I want to salvage it or not, but I'm going to glue it together and see what happens. Normally for this kind of break, you can see where they duct tape this together. This kind of break I would use wood glue, but I feel like that's too thick and it's not going to get in there. So I'm going to try and pull it apart as well as I can and just use some super glue in there and clamp it. So I went ahead and glued the broken pieces. Here you can see, hopefully see that one. Used super glue on that so it could drip it in, kind of like water going into there. There was another crack that I hadn't seen that was over here, and the big crack was right here, and you can't see from the picture, but it's almost completely level there. So cleaned out a lot of the particle board and got it to match up a little bit better. Over here was the crack. That one you could feel a little bit more through here, but the whole thing seemed like it was a little warped. It wasn't sitting right, and when you push on different sides, you can see that it lifts up, so it wasn't like sitting flat. And I thought it was just a warping of the particle board, but what it is this piece right here that juts out. It was, for some reason, I don't know why, but it was warped inward. So I just started sanding that down a little bit, and I'm going to take my my sander, my belt sander, and hit that a little bit more and bring this down, and it should lie completely flat then. And so all that's left on here is to kind of go through and fill all this stuff in. Fill in this big edge, this big void over there. Fill this, and I'm gonna use some of that that water putty. It dries up pretty hard. Use that in through here, all these areas. Flatten this all out again, and pull some of this glue off and try to make it look as good as it can. Still have to take this edge off because this is broken over here. I'll take that off, and with that other piece I had from the side, I can go ahead and make a new piece, or just cut that piece to this size, and then all I'll need is one long piece that I'll make, and I'll go ahead and document that process. So anyway, onward. After sanding and filling, this ended up having 4 complete breaks in the particle board. Here's one of them right here. Went ahead and did some filling of these areas. The big one was over here, and the corner was crushed too. Lost a lot of particle board over there, so I was able to kind of rebuild that corner. It's not perfect, but looks much better than it did before. Here was that break, complete break over here, and there was another crack over here that I went ahead and took care of. But not so much finishing on this side, because this is where the cheesecloth and the foam go over, so not much to do there. Still have to cut the walnut for this edge and make a new piece for the long edge. I'm doing that today. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just put a coat of paint on here. This still needs to be sanded down, so I'm gonna hit that with the belt sander because that area, for whatever reason, is warped up, and it keeps the frame from sitting correctly on the front of the speaker. So do that, paint it black, and then fill in. Just take some spackling and fill in any little voids that kind of look bad. So anyway, it's come along. So working on the grill again, or grill frame. This is the piece that I had to replace. I had this longer piece that was on the side that I'm gonna cut down for the top. So I went ahead and I cut this piece out of I didn't have any walnut, so I'm gonna have to do some artistic work to make this piece of pine look like that walnut. So first of all, I cut it a little too thick, so, which is okay because I'm gonna sand it down anyway, make sure there's no, blade marks or anything like that. And then it's a little too tall also. This is a little bit taller than the other piece, maybe by a 1/16 of an inch or something like that. So I'm gonna use my block sander and then go ahead and try to get that as close as I can. Just a couple of minutes of sanding, and I've got a piece that is almost the same size, pretty close to the original walnut edging. And I said before, this is pine, but what I'm gonna do is use a little artwork to make this look like walnut. So I'm gonna mix up some paint and get a base color on here, and then try to do some streaky walnut green effects on the piece. We'll see how it comes out. These are the closest colors I have to doing a base that's close to that walnut color. I think what I'm gonna do is try this one as a base, and then maybe do some of that, because there's some darker areas. Just kind of play around with and try and make my wood grain. Mine's a little bit darker than the original, but it's gonna work. That'll be fine. If I need to lighten it up a little bit, I'll hit it with the light sanding or something like that. But probably when it dries, it's gonna lighten up regardless. Most paints lighten up as they dry, so. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Both sides I think are usable, so I'll just kind of decide which one. That one actually looks a little closer. The other side looks a little darker. But anyway, it didn't take long. Just went ahead and mixed up some different types of browns. Made a little mush, put some black in there too, and just kind of lightly stroked it on there, and it looks pretty close to walnut now. So anyway, I will go ahead and clean that up, dry it up, let it dry, put some finish on it, and cut it and put it to the side, and get the other one, this other piece set up on top, cut to be able to put on the top, and then I'll go ahead and glue it on. Then hopefully we'll have a grill frame that looks very close to the original. Getting closer with the finishing of the broken grill frame. So anyway, I went ahead and I cut down the walnut from the side, and I have my new piece of pine that I've cut to fit in there. The only problem at this point is that the particle board is a little warped. So what I'm gonna do, I don't know if you can see that, it's just a little warped, so I'm gonna push that, I'm gonna weight that down, and then glue this on while it's weighted down. I use a combination of large clamps going from one end to the other end for the ends, and a couple of the small clamps for over here to keep it in place. So anyway, I'll go ahead and do that, and then see how it comes out, and then work on the side. So this frame has been completely redone now. This is the new piece I put on, and it's fairly close to the old walnut in color. And this was the piece that I cut down and put in place. Glued those in, and then I used some of my wife's, she calls it tulle instead of the cheesecloth, but that worked fine. You stretch it out nice and tight, and that'll hold the foam in place. So now I'm going to go ahead and use some wood glue as they did originally. Just spread that around here, put the foam on, turn it over, put a little weight on it, and wait, and should have a finished product.